Go. Yeah. Let's get this thing rolling. Yo. Get this thing right. Yeah. What it do, loved ones? What it do? Today is a special day, like always on the Thursday for the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm super pumped, super ecstatic to get myself fully, situated right here. Um, Today we got a dope live setup, podcast setup, and I'm super pumped, super ecstatic. That's my thing. I always like to come into this environment in this space with a positive outlook, because I know a lot of times we go through our lives and we have some ups and some downs, and sometimes emotionally people be out of whack, myself included. But it's one thing that we always got to learn when it comes to who we are, to be able to harness, control our energy, control our emotions, be thought provoking individuals, being able to think through our situation. So I think primarily that's one of the things that I love to focus on when I come into these spaces. Um, just having a positive outlook. I heard something from Charleston White before we really delve super into it, but it made me think about it as I'm speaking right now. It's made me think about the time where he said that when you come in contact with children, or for people for that matter, make sure that you show up and give them the best version of you. And I thought about that. I'm like, man, that's super powerful. And it makes me think of that. It makes me think about just how we present ourselves when we come into different spaces and different environments, how we carry ourselves through our daily lives and our tasks. We can always do it with some level of disdain, some dislike. But ultimately, how far does that get you? So I question myself on these things when it comes to who I am, where I'm trying to go, the things that I prioritize in, what is my mindset, how do I harness in that good, great energy and exert that to the people that I come in contact with, whether it's through virtual, whether it's in person. So these are some of the things that just cross my mind when I think about showing up. And I know that the better version of you can always show up the same exact way if you decide to, because it's all about a decision. You can decide to show up the better version of you every day. Sometimes people put roadblocks in front of themselves, myself included, because I don't exclude myself from these conversations. So I want to let you know that I'm right uh in it, in the trenches with you when it comes to these things that I speak about, because mainly it's some of the things that I experience, and I just talk about them on an open forum and open platforms, just so we have great dialogue about some of the things that we experience on our day in and day out. So I just want to bring that to your attention. So when I talk about these things, that's where my headspace is at, because I see these things often. There's days where you may wake up and you feel like, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. But understand that it's not about what you want to do. It's about, okay, when I do this thing, where is it going to lead me? And I think about the legacy, the trail that we leave behind for our loved ones, for ourselves. How do you want to show up? How do people want to respond to you? Um, in what manner? So think about those things. If you want people to have some level of dislike and say, you know what, I'd rather not be around him or her. You can show up any way you want. Ideally, still your choice, but how you interact in these environments affect not only you, but affects the people that you come in contact with, and it can affect relationships. It can affect businesses. It can affect uh, joint ventures. It could affect family, children, loved ones, people that you don't know. So these things just have major impact, and I just thought about those things while we just opening up. But getting to the gist of what's going on today. Today is Thursday. What do we normally do on Thursdays? We're going live for the Respectfully Great podcast. Super dope. Matter of fact, let's give a round of applause. Let's do that first. Let's start off there. Yeah, let's get that. How's that volume on that? Yeah. Okay, good money. Just testing some of these things out. I actually um switched up my keyboard on my Rodecaster, which is dope. I got funky colors that's lit up on the board, and I'm super super pumped for that. Um, yeah, how are you feeling today? Let's get there. Before we really really delve in, I want to know how you feeling out there in real time. How was your day? Was it a productive one? Was it a learning one? Was it one that you can, write down or jot down in your book and say, you know what, I could come back to this and I could reflect because um I had some experiences today, and they may worked out in my favor or they haven't. But the good thing is that you still have opportunity to go back and say, let's reevaluate this. Was it a pleasurable experience? Was it a learning one? Was it one that um I could utilize in the near future from some of the great things that I've experienced as of today? Um, how was your day? Just let me know in the chat. How was your day? Did some thumbs up fires. Uh, how are you feeling? I want to know how you doing today. Let me take a sip of this good old drink. Yeah, pretty cool mug. Take a look at it. Dig. A little parched, but that feels good. That tastes great. Oh man. Um, it's been a wonderful weekend of mine. Lizzie said it was great. Big thumbs up. Fire. Unlimited love. That is super dope, Lizzie. I'm glad you had a great weekend. It was dope. This week, we halfway, we're at the halfway marker. Today's the Thursday, the dead center of the 7 day week, right? We have 3 days, and then right in the middle, which is that Thursday, which is we could call it like a swing day, right? Um, on jobs they would call it a swing shift, but right now we in the swing part of the week, the dead center of the week, which is pretty dope. I like it because um just recapping some of the things I've experienced over the weekend. It's been um a real learning. Breezy, what's up, loved one? The God is in the building. Go tap in, go run those numbers up on the blueprint. Yes, yes. The blueprint for improvement. Go tap in with that right there. Me and my brother had a dope interview. Go check that out on YouTube in real time. Respectfully great on YouTube. Go run those numbers up. Show that love. Go tap in with my brother. Tap into his page. Go shop with my brother. Go do all of the good things to show that love and respect, because we know that the energy that you push out, you also receive it. So we want to do that in real time. Appreciate you for coming up, loved one, in real time. Let me state that again. Super impactful. I learned so much about your mindset, the things that blessed our community with, blessed our chat with, blessed the voices, the unheard voices, just the people in our spaces. And I think it's important to make sure that we do that on a day in, day out basis, or when we can, or when we acknowledge it, because a lot of times we say only if I could have or I should have, and we just miss those dates. And I feel that it's imperative that we show up in real time whenever we can, because tomorrow it's not promised. We know that. So when you can give the flowers, when you can, shed out that same good energy, understand that it will come back in due time. So that's what I want to really highlight. Just about how we interacted on our podcast episode, our podcast episode, which was dope. Yeah. So today we're talking about overlooking the obvious. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Um, Jay, what's up, loved one? What's good, God? We in the building. Yes, the chat is growing. We are building. We are getting tapped in, fully acclimated with the Respectfully Great podcast. We are turning up right now. It's dope. So what I was talking about is about overlooking the obvious, but I was giving some recap about how my weekend went, and you feel free to share your weekend. Let me know what you have done as well over the course of the week, some of the things that you have learned, so we can have open dialogue and just see where you are mentally, and we can tap in with that space. That's open to the whole chat is what I'm talking about. Mine was pretty dope. Keep it 1,000 while the boy was at the pool. The boy was swimming like a shark. No guppy. I'm out there swimming like a shark, man. Shark infested waters, man. When I'm in the water, man, watch out. Shark infested waters. Your boy out there swimming, man, going crazy, right? Super dope. Um, One thing which was kind of a highlight, but not really my highlight, but the people there and in that space made it a highlight. So, I always try to find the flaw. I focused on the winning. I focused on having an enjoyment experience when I go out and I do things, but I also love to reflect and say, okay, where was there a kink or where was the kink in the system? Where was that, that flaw where we could not just really focusing on, but what happened, right? And as I recap, what's good, loved one? Rico in the building. What's up, God? Unlimited Lord of the Lords. Lord of the Lords. One of the things that I highlighted, right, from the experience at the pool doing our thing, there was a gentleman had a discrepancy with one of the staff members. Now, the staff, they're there to do their job, making sure nobody drowned, because actually two individuals were in the water and they were drowning. Like they was in a 10 feet side, and they was waving their arms. People thought they were playing. Now, what I'm going to say is, all day the staff members kept telling the kids and adults as well, hey, no grabbing, slamming, don't do that, because you can cause a lot of confusion on somebody that may be in danger. So they've been saying this all day. They blow the whistle, whoop, yo, stop, no jumping, no this, da 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 da. So people thinking that they were being like a little obsessive, like they were going, a little too hard, until they realized that them doing their job was actually saving lives in the moment. So what I'm saying, all day he was telling kids and adults, stop slamming, stop goofing off, because we can't distinguish. They're not saying this in there and like verbally saying, don't slam or don't mess around, because we can't decipher who's who, what is what, if the potential drowning of a personnel is present. So they didn't say that, but they were saying just stop goofing off, etc. Because that's just policy. All day, everybody doing their thing. They blow that whistle 200 times, right? One incident that happened where the whistle didn't get blown, there was two ladies on the other deep side of the pool, and they were actually drowning. Two of these young ladies were in this side of the pool, and they couldn't swim. They were drowning. So now we going back to the moments where we're saying that, hey, these people are being obsessed with people in the pool, saying, oh man, they keep blowing the whistle, they doing ba 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 ba. Hey, until the people started drowning, everybody stopped. Two ladies was over there drowning. One lifeguard was on the opposite end, because there was one lifeguard that was standing pretty much in the area where the ladies were drowning, because they thought they were goofing off. One lady noticed that, no, this isn't playful activity. They over there, they're in danger. She jumps in the water, swims over there very fast, save both of the women, right? This girl was young, maybe about, I say teenage years. Couldn't have been that old. As far as the lady that jumped in the water, right? But maybe 21 probably, give or take. I don't know the ages, but here nor there. What I'm saying is that she's pretty young, jumped in the water, saved the two ladies. That happened. Everybody in the pool gossiping, saying, yo, this happened, ba, 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 ba. Cool. There was another situation right after that. There was a gentleman that has some type of level of discrepancy, has his issues with the staff members, the same ones that's out there saving, helping people lives, right? Monitoring, make sure that everybody is in copacetic, everything is copacetic, right? Everybody's fine, right? This gentleman get out the pool and was going crazy on the staff members, calling them out their names, saying, you don't know what the F you doing, ba, 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 ba. Stop telling me what I can and can't do. This is my pool. You know what? I'm going to report you to ICE. Are you even legal? This is what the guy says. This is what the guy says. Now, the lady is teenager, right? Or early 20s, etc. Which is a young lady. Now, all day, they've been blowing the whistle to help people, to make sure everybody is following policy. But they end up in the process saving two girls' lives. After the fact, they had an issue with this gentleman. The gentleman was, upset that they were blowing the whistle at him, telling him to relax. He hops out the pool as if he wanted to fight the young ladies, gets outside the pool, goes up to the lady, um, mouthing off, saying, oh, are you legal? Ba, 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 ba. I'm gonna report you, ba, 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 ba. And everybody in the pool, like, okay, this is making a left turn, right? Ultimately, what I'm saying is that sometimes, no matter what the situation is, we can overlook the obvious, right? Bert, some Andrew in the building, some loved one. I see you out there teaching, doing your thing, out there traveling, doing your thing. Highlight that. Um, Sometimes we can overlook the obvious, and the obvious is, okay, things be right in front of our faces, and sometimes we can choose to ignore. Sometimes those situations where you choose to ignore can be life or death situation. Over the weekend, it was a life and death situation because two women were drowning. So now, when we take this and we apply this to our lives, right? Thinking about times, thinking about moments, thinking about experiences that you go through on a daily, day in and day out, of some of the things that we tend to overlook. That's right there, readily readily available, super apparent, right in front of our faces that we choose to ignore. And I'm saying, how many times have you experienced some of the things that's like dead right in the middle of your face that we just overlooking and choosing to ignore? I want you to think about that for a second. Slim, what's up, loved one? Think about that. How many things that are super, super obvious that are right in front of our face, but we choose to ignore? Andrew says, "What's good? I see you out here motivating people. All this unlimited love, family. You do the same thing as well every day. I think we all are great motivators and just living our testimony. And I think that's where we all carry that belief in one another is when we can recognize in one another how great we are. And I appreciate that, loved one, for you just highlighting that. But I want to let you know too as well that I do see you and I see everybody that's in this chat and some people that we may not come in contact with. We could see them in virtual world or in real time just doing anything. And I think that's what moves our culture as people, humanity forward when we're able to recognize the greatness in all of us. So I think we all are doing a just job, just showing up the better versions of ourselves. So I appreciate that, Bert. Absolutely, loved one. Lizzie with the muscles up. Solid. Um, Anybody in the chat, have you came to a point in your life, or have you experienced, or have you seen something that you like, wow, that was right there in front of my face the whole time? I take this on another level or scale. Have you ever been looking for something, right? Other day, just another, example from me. Other day, I was looking for my watch, going crazy. Two things I was looking for my headphones and looking for my watch. Maya and Gigi said hi. Tell Maya and Gigi that I love them unconditionally. Maya, Gigi, Uncle Johnny loves you unconditionally. Beautiful thing, loved one. Absolutely. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been looking for something and you've been looking for it for days or amount of time or hour, etc. And it's kicking you in the butt, right? Like, oh, I can't figure out what's going on. I can't find I can't figure out. Lizzie says, hi, Maya and Gigi. Big love. Have you ever looked for something and you've been looking for it, and then come to find out, boom, it just appears right in front of your face? Have anybody experienced that? Let me know in the chat. Has anybody ever experienced something that you've been looking for, and then after a while, you just noticed that it was right there in front of your face? And let me know what that thing is or was. If you were looking for something, it just had to be right there in front of your face after a duration of time. You've been looking around, you couldn't find it. For the kids, looking for their toy, your favorite toy, your teddy bear. What about that? Or, you're looking for your favorite pair of socks, or you're looking for your favorite belt. I know with me the other day, I was looking for my headphone. I went on my app. I went to Wearable on my app, and Bert said, yeah, that happens all the time with the TV remote. Absolutely. The TV remote. How common is that? How common is that? Have you ever been, in your room, living room, somewhere in the house where the television is sitting, and you said, oh, I want to turn this volume up or change the channel, and you couldn't find the remote. You can Maya, I love you, baby girl. You know that unconditionally. You know I love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Kisses in real time. Gigi, mwah, 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 mwah. Kisses in real time. My brother Andrew says, yeah, that happens all the time with the remote control that changes the television or the TV. We cannot find it. How does that happen? We don't know. Sometimes it gets stuck in between the couch. Sometimes we go into the bathroom. We go in there for number one. You just happen to go there for number two. Be there a little bit longer. And then what happens? The remote gets, displaced. That happens when you end up looking up and then you actually find the remote or find that item. How do you feel when you do find it? Somebody tell me, when you've been looking for something for so long and it happens to pop up right there in front of your face, how do you feel when you do find that thing? Question. Bert says, yeah, that's where it usually ends up, in between the couch. Absolutely. It gets smothered in between the crevices and the cracks of the couch. That's where a lot of times the remote ends up. How do you feel when you actually find that remote or find that thing? I can tell you my experience. Bert says, I feel relieved and glad to have I found it. Absolutely. Absolutely. VLM. VLNM. Peace, loved one. Feel relieved, right? What I want to share with you about some of my experiences. I was talking about earlier about the watch. I use wearable. End up going to Brooklyn because I was traveling home from work. So I'm coming from Brooklyn, going into Queens, driving, doing my thing. And I end up saying, okay, I can't find my headphones. So let's look on wearable. Last time it said it was visible was May 16th, something crazy like that. I think the dates were out of whack, super out of whack. But I ended up going there anyway. Going to the area, try to find it, couldn't find it. Actually 2 days later, same thing. Um, like 2 days, no, 2 days ago, not 2 days later from that point, because that happened maybe about a week ago. 2 days ago, end up coming in the crib. I said, Lizzie, can you just check my drawer to see if you see my watch? Because I misplaced my watch, right? My head is screwed off. Head is screwed off, right? Got so many things going on, doing too many things at one time, end up misplacing the watch as well as the headphone. Lizzie says, looking for important papers that I need, and when under stress, I can't find it. Anxiety builds up and I get stressed. And when I find it, I go, what the heck? It was right here, and laugh it off. Laugh out loud. Unbelievable. That's how it happens. What the heck? I was looking for these papers that end up being right here in front of my face. What Andrew said is that he feels the sense of relief. Powerful. The other day, 2 days ago, looking for the watch. I end up saying, Lizzie, look in the drawer. See if you see my watch. She goes inside the drawer. You know what she finds? Not the watch initially. She finds the headphone, the one I went and stopped in Brooklyn for, looking around, turned over by the side of the road, searching all around. She ended up finding that one headphone inside of the drawer, misplaced it. Also, I said, you know what? Lizzie said, you know what? Hey, how about you check your clothing? Let me go check your clothing. End up checking one of the pair of shorts. One of the pair of shorts. That's crazy. A pair of shorts that I was wearing. End up going inside of the pants. Find my watch. The moral of the story is that a lot of times we be looking for things and it be right there. What makes me why I wanted to touch upon this topic, because this week I had multiple experiences, as you can see, about looking for things and then finally finding it, right? And um what makes me think about this, right, on another scale, is about how do we find who we are in our own lives? How do we show up, or all along just come up to say, I discovered who I am. I discovered something about myself that I didn't know I had, or I didn't possess, or I was looking for the whole time. And I looked a little bit closer and I found it. That's what makes me think about this topic. Although there were many experiences that I know that we all experienced, like the remote, like the papers, like our favorite toy, like our headphones, like our watches, our glasses, my favorite cup, my suit tie, my favorite pair of shoes. Elizabeth says, we get so bent out of shape, our mind gets cloudy, and we forget our steps because we are desperate to find it. We need to take a second to clear our minds, to look for what we need. Powerful, 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 powerful. Round of applause. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. She says something very, very key. A lot of times we look for things and our mind is cloudy. Sometimes we are looking for the wrong things and don't really identify exactly what are we looking for. It makes me think, can we identify exactly what are we looking for? When we are feeling a particular way, when we say, today I don't just feel right, what are you identifying with that you're missing? When I talked about emotions, a lot of times we make some of the decisions we make from an emotional standpoint. Now, when it comes to men and women, biologically we're different, right? Women tend to go more for emotion. Men are supposed to be more thought provoking, right? Being able to think, not just really going off the emotion. What happens when these things just cross paths where, men is thinking more emotional, women are more thought provoking, vice versa, or we not doing any of it at all. We just moving wherever the wind blows, we just going in that direction. what happens when we just going out there without a purpose and just letting the blind lead the blind per se, in the sense of going out there in the world and not having no sense of direction or knowing what you're looking for? What happens? It seems like we come to a halt. We come to a standstill. We come to a place in our lives where we're not actually moving the needle forward, and we're not getting out what we think we are putting in to yield a higher result, a higher return on our emotional standpoint, our mental wellness, our finances, our spiritual alignment. Some of these things can be, super distorted because we're not really identifying what the things we are missing in our lives. How many times do we do the self audits and figure out, hey, some of the things that I've been looking for, I may be focused on the wrong things. How many times have you gone through some of the life cycles and say, you know what, only if I get this one thing, this would cure my level of uh insecurity or happiness. This would, boost up my happiness to the umpteenth degree, to where I could just wake up and just feel great. And we get that one thing and we're not really fulfilled. It has that temporary satisfaction. We have that gratitude in the moment. We feel great in the moment. 2 hours later, we don't feel the same way we felt 2 hours prior. So now we have to question some of the things that we are looking for. Are those things bringing us the type or level of fulfillment that we are desired to set forth for oneself? Are we looking for some of this happiness in some of the materialistic things? Are we looking for it in other people? Are we looking for it in the television? Are we looking for it in from, spaces where we feel we need to get boosted up with, some of our accomplishments, our accolades? Or do we feel like, are we having a just job to where we feel we are recognized for it? How do we feel if those things um don't be readily available? Quay, what's up, sis? Quay's in the building. Shout out Quay. She's getting a podcast rolling. I can't wait. I'm super pumped. Sign me up whenever you want the God to come on. I am on there, and I can't wait till that podcast get rolling because you got that woman empowerment. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see all the guests you bring up there. I can't wait to see you flourish, thrive, and have these super in-depth conversations. So I want to highlight you for that. Absolutely, love one. Absolutely. Also, my brother Slim, while we here, loved one. The God got, every time you turn around, you win an award. Every time you turn around, my brother doing something extraordinary when it comes to the community. And that's something to be recognized and highlighted. Golf tournaments, rewards. These things are a testament to how he shows up, as well as Lon, my brother Lon. They're doing this thing together as a tandem. They showing up and doing things in real time where it's recognized and people are recognizing it. And it's a beautiful thing when we can give flowers in real time to let people know that we see them. Yes, congrats, Quay. Absolutely. Lizzie says that I'm down to Lizzie's. Okay, let's go. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Yes. Powerful. When we're talking about these things, about some of those key components that we may be missing, are those things directly connected to who we are and what we want to get out of our experiences here on earth? So I say these things because um I know at times in my life I was looking for that fulfillment in some of the wrong things. What I mean that I thought that I was gonna get this fulfillment when I played some level of sport, right? Out there on the football field, basketball court, baseball, etc. I felt like, oh, I'm top of the world. Hobby, enjoy it, found super enjoyment, but I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. But when it's over in the moment, I'm like, I don't really feel the same way 2 hours from now. I thought about when I had this level of when I do music. I love music. Music is a passion of mine. I love doing music, right? Um, when I stopped doing the music, do I feel the same way that I did prior leading into the music? If I felt a particular way emotionally for that moment or that day, was I able to get out that expression? How did I feel afterwards? Sometimes it felt great. Sometimes I felt same. So what I'm saying is that there's so many variations of overlooking the obvious, meaning how we are coping and operating in real time in society. And a lot of times we are looking and we are overlooking some of the things that are right in front of my face. What I learned over time is that when I started to really sit in silence, doing those self audits, meaning taking time out for me, looking intrinsically, looking inside oneself, trying to find, okay, where does my happiness lie? Where does my purpose lie? How am I creating my purpose? Because I feel that your purpose is created. We all have innate abilities, right? We all have skill sets. We all have different levels of leverages that we can acquire, that we have acquired in our lives. Some people have God gift talent or have the God gift attributes, such as somebody may be 7 feet tall. So they made to be on the basketball court or some level of sport because of their height. Or they made to go into the grocery store and look over the shelves when nobody else can stock the shelves, right? Everybody could use their skill sets to an advantage. Or somebody like myself being lower center of gravity, being shorter. So, when I played some of the sports, I was able to, dip in and out because I was so hard to tackle in that space when it came to some of the guys that were more big of a stature. Quorum sub level one, trauma can in the building. Go tap in, man. You have anything that's going on, pipes backed up. But listen, he's a restorer at heart. That's powerful. I remember that thing at the back of my mind. He's a restorer at heart. That's his whole premise of his job and the things he do when he show up for his purpose, when he go out there and he create this purpose with his job and his environment and the space that he come into. It's super, super dope how he put the customer first. And these are the things I love to highlight about all of us. Like, we all are doing some level of service on the level of fulfilling our purpose and creating it on so many levels where it's commendable. And I want to be able to highlight that at all times because these are the things that I take for me from seeing with the things that my peers are doing. I take these things, I put these things in my book bag, and I keep like my man Charles used to say, when we used to have the studio, he said that everything that you do is just keep everything that you acquire is like chipping away at your structure. You just keep chipping away, chiseling away till you get that perfect structure of who you are. He used to say that to us all the time when we had the studio. So he said, just keep working on your imperfections, keep chipping away until you get right. Shout out to my brother Charles, because that's one of the gems that he left us with. And these are some of the things that I take when I listen to the testimonies of my loved ones. I take these things back with me and I keep these as mental reminders that, oh, they showing up as a restorer at heart. I gotta be able to put my heart in the areas where I feel I want to give the best, showing up the best version of myself, like Charleston White said, showing up as the best version. Give people the best version of you. Definitely children and adults as well. But give people, when they come in contact with you, give them the best version of you. Super, super powerful. James 355 3550 Jones. What's up, loved one? God is in the building. Slim says, my bad, was washing dishes. Good looks. I appreciate you always. Oh, light work, loved one. Listen, the job don't stop. See how this thing works? We always working around the clock. There's something that can be done to lead us towards those next levels. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to um the topic at hand, which is overlooking the obvious. How much attention are we paying to the things that's right there in front of us? If we neglected the dishes, what happens? We start building up more dishes, more. You be able to, acquire some of the unwanted critters, right? That means you start open up, turn the lights on at night and then, oh, what's going on around here? That's what happens when we let things just pile up. Same thing we do with the laundry. Same things we do with some of the levels of stress. What happens when we pile up some of the levels of unwarranted things in our lives that just come too big too big to unbear at times, where we just keep piling up more and more on our shoulders until we break. And that's the things we want to avoid. We want to avoid those breaking points. Of course, we want to build up levels of tolerance, meaning that, okay, strengthen ourselves in the areas where we can just be better at, right? Meaning that, okay, if there's a job that we need to do, if we need to show up for a service, we show up and do that 110% and do that every single time. And then what happens is, over time, you start building up a tolerance. It's like layups. Yeah, initially you may go for a layup, you shoot over the backboard. After doing 100 layups, now you flawless with the layups. Now you can do layups with not even hitting the backboard or net. You know, Kyrie style or Curry style, not even hitting the net floaters. You feel what I'm saying? But that's what happens when we do things repetitiously. Things start to compound, and this is what I noticed about some of my experiences and things that I've noticed in other people's lives. Initially, things start out as a seed that was planted, and then once the seed gets planted, we have to just wait for the time for growth. In the meantime, that doesn't mean we sit around and do nothing. We initially plant the seed, but we gotta, give it some water, give it some sunlight, clip off the loose ends, mix up the new soil. You do things in between time after you plant the initial seed. What I'm talking about is this, right? I'm here and having a presence on, and I talk about me in the sense of a generalization, just saying my experiences because I know that we all have them, and I just want to give context to some of the things that I experience and where I get some of the ideologies from on some of these talking points, because these are the things that I experience every day, and I know that we all experience them on different levels about different things. I know that we all have um some level of obstacle that we all trying to overcome or achieve, because if not, then we will have everything and there's no need for us to do anything. But we know that's not true, because every day we are waking up and we're striving towards something. And my question is, well, what is that something? Sometimes we may be following a path that was led by someone else, not really your own. And although that may be cool, it may have sustainability. You be able to have some level of financial gain depending on whatever it may be. But I'm understanding that life has a lot of purpose, but it's the purpose that you create. Sometimes you may take certain levels of sacrifices for other people, for the betterment of particular situations, et cetera, et cetera. My thing is, are you in a space where you're fulfilled in the process of what you're doing? Are you impacting? Are you loving what you do? Are you offering value to the spaces that you come in? Or are you driving? Are you are you fulfilled during this process or not? Or do you find that to be, you know what, it's not about me? And what I found out with me is that when I didn't make it about me, it was hard for me to make it about somebody else. That's one of the things that I've learned, is that when I didn't make it about me, it was hard for me to offer that same level of sentiment for somebody else. So what I came to understand is that you gotta pour a lot into you, because we know that the first law of nature is self-preservation, preserve self. They say a lot of times you on an airplane and the plane is going down. Before you put the mask on somebody else, you got to put it on yourself first. That's what they tell you. That's what they tell you as survival. As survival. So what I'm saying is that although we showing up for other people, we got to be the best version of ourselves when we do show up. So now when the other person come in contact with us and the people that we want to show up for, they get the best version of us. We don't want to hand over and show up as the weaker version of ourselves, because we know that the people that we care about enough, that our purpose, the reason why we out there striving and doing the things that we are doing, is to be able to show up with a purpose. So if we go out there and do that, how do you want to show up? You want to show up as the mediocre so and so, or the best version of so and so? I think we provide a just service when we're able to do that, when we show up the best version of ourselves. Does anybody have a take on um being able to show up? How do you show up during your day? How do you show up for your purpose? Why are you creating your purpose and making your stamp, your imprint in life? Can somebody just give me one of the things that they do um that allows them to show up the best version of themselves? How can you show up the best version of yourselves to ultimately, affect the people lives that you want to affect? What is something that you learned along your journey in your life that allowed you to be the best version of you to show up for somebody else? Can anybody give me something that they do on a day in or a day out basis that allow them to be the best version of themselves? Because I know that in this chat, we got awesome, tremendous, thought provoking individuals that are doing wonderful and amazing things in real time. So I want to know some of the things that you guys do in order to show up the best version of yourself. I just want to hear some of it because, me, I'm going to be honest. I'm a, I'm be honest. I take it all. You guys offer it, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna apply it because I want to be the best version of me. So if there's something out there that's working for you, I want to learn. I want to know so I can be able to come and take that and use that part of my repertoire and my bag of tricks and my growth and my development. Let me take a sip of this. It's a good old drink really quick. The boy a little parched. Yes, yes. You know what we're gonna do really quick? I want to have a word for my sponsors really quick. Let's get our sponsors tapped in really quick. Hold on 1 second while we hear a word from our sponsors. Peace, beloveds. Thank you for tuning in to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and I appreciate your continuous support. Do you know that over 80% of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed? By subscribing to our channel, you give us the opportunity to bring on more guests to add more value to our channel. To join our growing community, head over to respectfullygreat.com, sign up for our email list to get exclusive updates on empowering blogs, as well as the latest and greatest in respectfully great fashion. Once again, it's nothing but big love, and we value your commitment. Yeah, that's a word from one of our sponsors, your very own Johnny Reed from Respectfully Great. Right now, you can go tap in on respectfullygreat.com, get your latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Tap into the blogs, tap into the posts, just be more interactive. Sign up for the email list as well, so you'll be able to get the latest and greatest in all ensembles. Thank you for that share. Me from me. You heard? Like my brother Raul, me versus me. That's another version of me. That's me in real time, and that's me in virtual. On the opposite end, me and me. You dig? Especially great. This is another one of our things from our apparel collection, which is here. You see it, super legendary. Got something on the back. Don't want to stand up to show it all because I don't want to get too crazy right now. But ultimately, thank you for your support in advance because it's important to me that you guys always show that love and you guys do it on a continuous basis. And it's not just about purchasing. It's just, excuse me, it's just about you doing what's best for you, and that's where the reward comes into play. When I know that people out there are just doing their best and showing up because it matters. It matters not only to me, but it matters to you, and it matters to the people that depend on you. So that's one of the things. Um, let's take it to uh, let's take it to a place, right? I heard something from Einstein. So I'm actually when we're talking about I got into this book, right? So we are talking about growing and being better, right? So I always look for different ways to be better. One of the things that I love to expound on all the time is me just picking up my reading ability. I love to read books. I love to get some sound knowledge. I listen to podcasts. I listen to a bunch of people on my daily interactions when I come in contact with people, sparking up these conversations, etc. And I get to learn a lot about other people and the things that they do. Slim says, "Yo, I was actually gonna reach out to you and tell you if you have some merch, you can come set up at the table at the community barbecue if you want. Absolutely, love one. Come on, I'm always down for a good time. Why not? I think it's a beautiful thing. I would definitely pull up and do what we need to do. It's a blessing in itself. See how that thing work? Always working. God is always working and putting things in place and putting plays together, unseen, the obvious. Some things you just don't know. They just come in different packages, right? Super dope. I appreciate that, loved one. Absolutely. Um, so I'm reading this book right here, by Darrell Eves called The YouTube Formula. So your boy is getting more familiar with YouTube because this is the space that I occupy. So in order for me to be the better version of myself, I constantly want to keep educating and keep doing things that will allow me to become better. Allow me to come, and also I'm not I don't get no proceeds for advertising the book, right? And I'm not part of an affiliate program, which I should be because I do have a assortment of um novels and stuff that I read that I promote all the time that I would love to, maybe just get a coin off for promotional uses. But that wasn't for promotional use. That was just strictly off just where I'm at in the space that I occupy. So long story short, I'm reading this book right? About YouTube and how YouTube worked. Funny thing, just a footnote if you haven't noticed. Well, if you haven't know if you didn't notice, but um, fun fact: YouTube was actually started not as the platform that you see today. It was actually created as a dating website. Super crazy, right? 2006, I'm not mistaken. They actually dropped it. They uploaded. They what they do? They got the domain and all that stuff situated on February 14th, Valentine's Day. So on Valentine's Day is when they actually created YouTube in 2006. And it was created for a dating website, not for what you see as of today, not as all of the broadcasting, all of the things you see, all of the fun things you see on YouTube today. It wasn't initially started as that. So I'm gonna get to the other point that I was talking about, but it made me think about the origins of things. A lot of times you don't know where we going in life if we don't get some of the backstory. So a lot of times when we want to go to a particular place, I think it's very important to get some type of sound knowledge of what these things are. Affordable rentals in the building, car rentals in the building. What's up, loved one? Go shop today at your affordable car rentals. Go cop it today. Easy. No sweat. Finances, don't got to worry about too much of the background check. None of that. You go in there, it's an easy process. Call that number, tap in, go on YouTube, social media, tap in affordable rentals. You get the lowest rates, you get easy access, on spot, multiple vehicles available. Affordable car rentals today. Go cop. You need a car, you need a car, you got emergency, you got somewhere to be. Time is ticking, You don't have no outlet. Affordable car rentals. Easier than going to some of the other car rental places. Some of the car rental places, they want you to have damn near a car itself. You got to come there with your own car to go buy another car, to rent a car. So you don't want to do that. 100 Wave King of the building. What's up, level one? Shop at BMO. I'm sponsored. Listen, today is the day of the shout outs and the sponsors. I want to let everybody know in the building today. Go shop at BMO, bag money only, 100 Wave King. Everybody's in the building. See, this is what I love about creativeness. We have all variations of intellect in this building, creativeness. We have car rental services. We have um community services. We have uh uh restoration businesses. We have clothing businesses. We have teachers in the building. We have all variations of professions in the building. We have podcasters, Quay in the building. We have so much offered in our space, and I want to be able to highlight that when it comes to our loved ones. So that's that. What I was talking about was I was getting to a point where the origins of things, right? So a lot of times we don't know where things had started from. And one thing I learned about everything that I intend to do, I always try to get some type of background knowledge on what it is that I'm looking for, because sometimes things can be misleading. Sometimes we only go for the things that we see that's right in front of our face, right? And we don't understand how these things come to be. So when I started to do my homework on YouTube, trying to be a better, YouTuber, etc., and being able to get to those other spaces to where I'd be able to spread the word to more and more individuals, I said, you know what, let's do some background work. So when I came to figure out, okay, well, how was this started? Something that was very, very key that he said in the book, and something else I want to expound on about Einstein as well. But he said that it came to it when he created the platform. Initially, they had to pivot, because once they started to notice about what they noticed about YouTube itself, even though they created it for a dating website, they started to notice that the people that were coming on the platform were sharing stories about their dog riding a skateboard, family and friends doing some goofy stuff, and they just wanted to show it to their friends. So they started to notice that, okay, this is more of a broadcasting about self and making aware to loved ones mainly. And he started the three guys that started the YouTube, they also had created PayPal. They started to, so they sis in the building, they started to pivot, because they said, well, hold up, we're not getting no traction with creating this as a dating website. What can we do? We started looking at our analytics and started to find out that majority of people that are coming on our platform are people that want to share broadcasting videos about themselves. So what I learned through the book is that now that I'm on the platform, we got to be able to, I know for me, yes, initially I came on with the intentions of spreading a common word, but you got to give. Ultimately, what I'm noticing, just as far as I am into the book, is that you got to be able to give people what they want, and I think that's key when we show up as who we are. Although there's some things that we love, but there's some things that people love about you or what you offer that they want. Ultimately, this happens when you're a creator. I know when I did music, this is one thing. I love to make music the way I like to make music. But we know that some of these things, even though you can build an audience and a following for doing what you exactly want to do, what I'm saying is that a lot of times there's a formula and a format of how we got to make things that's easily digestible for the consumer. So sometimes you may want to go super in Twilight Zone and want to do your thing in that context, but you may lose a lot of people along the way because you may say something about a particular pen that only you know about because there was only one made out of X, Y, and Z, and nobody may have. People may not know what you're talking about. So what I'm saying is that sometimes the real skill is being able to deliver a message that's digestible for the consumer. So sometimes we want to make a lot of things about us, me, 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 me. But the better version of you is being able to communicate that message in a digestible way for the consumer. So that's what I learned about the book, is that the more you're able to pour into oneself and understand that, okay, there are people that's coming to you to for a service or provide whatever you do for your expertise. Find a way to communicate that easier is what I picked up from the book. Find a way to communicate that easier for the consumer. Also, in that book, I wrote this one down. Um, Einstein, he said something super, super profound. What I thought was, something that I could take with me and chip away, and use this as one of the things I could just attach to my armor and develop in my growth and development. So he says this. Einstein said this. Einstein believed that our ability to identify problems was in direct proportion to the quality of solutions we generate. Let me break that down one more time. Say it one more time. Einstein believed that our ability to identify problems was in direct proportion to the quality of solutions we generate. What does that mean? To me, what that sounds like is that oftentimes we're looking for solutions to the problem. Solutions, right? Trying to problem solve. Now, that's one of my biggest things because I always feel that we are bigger than a problem. There's no problem that's bigger than us if we just continuously build ourselves up to be better versions of ourselves. The more and more we keep equipping ourselves, pouring more into ourselves when we read, when we watch, when we listen, we pick up these senses and we maximize these senses and we maximize our potential. There's nothing that we may stand in front of that can beat us down. We always will overcome that if we're showing up the better version of ourselves, right? So when I listen to that and I'm thinking about on what Einstein said, it made me think about, okay, what type of problems am I trying to solve? What type of problems am I trying to solve? How do we expect to solve the complex questions and problems in our lives if we can't identify the small ones that we are overlooking right in front of us? Made me think about this topic today. We want to solve the grandiose problems in our lives, the hardships that we want to get down to the nitty gritty, but we not identifying the things that's right in front of us. What I'm saying is that a lot of times we have to crawl before we walk. We want to solve the hardest problems. We want to have that mathematician problem that it's taking 20, 30 years to solve, but we're not solving the small ones that are right there in front of our face that we're overlooking. How many of the small problems are you able to identify right now that you say, hey, if I do this, this works. If you do this, this works. If I do this, let me give you an example, right? One of my biggest problems that was right there in front of my face for a very long time, for years. Your boy I thought it was a vampire, right? Right. Your boy thought I could stay up all day, all night, and everybody know me. Everybody know me. They know that as soon as your boy sit down in one particular place, I'm zing off. But the problem is I wasn't getting the proper amount of sleep. That means that I will be up at all types of hours during the day. I took a lot of cat naps. My sleep was affected. My the way I was able to process, the way I was able to think, the way I was able to execute all was affected by having a lack of sleep. There was a point in time where I was a night owl in the sense of just running the nightlife. So I was constantly in and out, 9 to 5, school, etc., nightlife. If the boy was barely getting any sleep, when I sat down at any one particular place, your boy would go out. But it was always like that. It always had a a non-rhythmic, you know, type of flow. My flow wasn't just a continuous thing of, steady. It was just unconventional. But the things I was doing, what's up, Capo? Capo in the building. What's up, loved one? Um, that's how my lifestyle was. So a lot of times what I was doing was I was getting lack of sleep and it affected my performance. So there was something that was right in front of my face that I ignored for years and years and years on end until things around me started to crumble. I wasn't able to show up the best version of myself. The people that were dependent on me wasn't able to fully depend on me because I wasn't able to show up the best version of me. Sometimes I would miss dates. I would be late everywhere. There's patterns that I had in my life to where I noticed I was overlooking until I started to pay more attention to. I spent thousands of dollars, me and my cousin Black, we spent thousands of dollars on car tickets, catching tickets left and right. Every day in the mail, Mama loved getting a letter. Hey, Johnny, another ticket. Johnny, another one. Johnny, another one. Johnny, another one. And it was continuous. Tolls and booths, $3,000, $2,000. It was ridiculous because I didn't have a level of, I was overlooking the problem until my finances started to get affected. When I didn't have the money to go buy food to eat. And I'm like, well, I got $2,000 worth of tickets. I spent $1,000 worth of tickets last month or $2,000 worth of tickets. Then what? Then it's like, well, that the money that you're supposed to be eating with is actually dumped into tickets. So there was a pattern in my life where I had lack of focus because I wasn't paying attention to the things that was right in front of me. I was more addicted to the lifestyle, the nightlife, partying, hanging out, doing all those things because that's just came with the territory for the space that I occupied. And I felt like, you know what? If I'm doing this, okay, this is the space I'm occupied. If I can sustain this every day in, day out, everything is Gucci. Until I came home at the end of the night and I was broke. I had no money in my pocket. I had lack of sleep. I was running late to work. I had tickets out the behind. And I'm like, wait, my life is just kind of chaotic. There's things that are going on in my life that I'm not clearly paying attention to. Once I started to pay some attention to some of these things started to change. It wasn't an overnight change, but there's something that changed here that started to affect the outcome. People, sub loved one. And when I started to learn that we are progenitors of the things that we pour into is what we get out of. The things we pour into, when we start having the levels of focus and zero in on some of the things that we choose to ignore. When we start giving those things levels of attention, things start to change. And this is what I was talking about, talk about it. Cabo, no, Cabo, Black, we know, we've been there. We've been there plenty of nights. We coming on, we taking the Uber, limo, whatever we got to do. We tore up, we spun around one time. Oh man, Cabo, should I share the story? Should I share the story? One day we coming through Roslyn. We were so twisted out of our minds. We actually got into a car accident. The car spun around and we didn't even wake up. Well, I didn't wake up. I think Cabo, you driving, right? I think Cabo was driving. Car spun around. Your boy didn't even wake up. I just woke up when I got to the crib. Don't remember when I walked into the house. I woke up the following day. Don't remember. Unbelievable. Cabo said hit run. All seriousness, we not talking disclaimer. This is not for any people that get in car accidents. We're just saying that there were things that happened during the course of our lives to where they were affected, and how we lived our lives had an outcome to where it was more detrimental than good. DT looking for my mom's. It's crazy. It's crazy, dog. It was crazy. It's crazy. We had so many nights where there are things that we have put out there, and we yield the return of some unfavorable things. And this is the things that I'm talking about. Sometimes in our lives, we do so many things that we choose to ignore. And it be things that's right in front of our faces that, we could, if we fix those one or two things and doors will start to open up for a better tomorrow. And this is what I'm learning. Quay said, not looking for the moms. Word is born. It's crazy. Not Mama Dukes. Oh man, not Mama Love. Not Mama Love. Out of control. Out of control. Mama Love. Pooh said Mama Love. Quay said not moms. Not Mom Dukes. It's crazy. But there's so many times to where we experience some of these things. So many different variations. How many times in your life where you have experienced some of these things where you say, you know what, if only if I would have jumped on this with a sense of urgency, only if I would have took initiative when I knew I had to, and I didn't. How would the outcome have been if we just been a little bit more responsible, more aware of the risks that we take? And sometimes the risk ain't worth the reward. Sometimes the risks that we take ain't worth the reward because we know on the back end there's some potential outcomes that are not favorable to us. It will cost us more time, more money, more energy, a time and the space away from our loved ones. It'll slow all the progression that we amounted to up to this point. It would digress. It would go backwards. It would atrophy. It would decay. It would go to chaos. That's what will happen if we not being more responsible in some of the areas that we're in, being more conscientious, being more aware, not overlooking the apparent right in front of us. This is what happens during the course of our lives. And these are some of the things that I wanted to highlight about some of our experiences, because I know we all experience it on many, many levels. Some of them are personal, some of them are shared experiences, like we talked about with my loved ones, with Cop, with Black, and the Wave. These are some of the things that we have experienced together. And there's some things that we share in private that, sometimes we too embarrassed to speak about to other people. We know about them. And these are the things I want us to get more transparent about in our own lives. We don't have to discuss it here. What I'm saying is that some of the things that we need to do is those self audits, look at ourselves and say, you know what, where's my life? Why I'm not getting over the hump. Let me share something else with you about me. Finances. Finances is a huge thing. Sometimes we bite off more than we could chew. I've been in that place before. P said, you take all of your losses and return them knowledgeable wins. It's called growth. Ooh, come on, man. Give me the epiphany. No, not that one. Here it is. Where's the one that the chimes? Had that epiphany, loved one. P said, hold on one more time. I'm gonna read it again and give you the chimes. P said, you take all of your losses and return them to knowledgeable wins. It's called growth. Powerful, God. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Yeah, I like that, loved one. That's what we got to do because you're the testimony. You're the testimony. So you be able to take your story and be able to translate that into a format that people can actually save on their hard drive and learn from. Because even when we talk about the children, the beauty of having our children is that we're able to right our wrongs with our children. What do I mean by that? Right? Not that we living through our children, right? Because we want our children to experience and live their lives the way that they want to live their lives. But the pitfalls that we have had, we want to be able to raise them in a manner to where they don't have to go through those things. So we equip them. We equip them with the knowledge. We equip them with the amp sub level one. We equip them with the knowledge. We equip them with the skill set. We show them, okay, if you're a great drawer, focus on drawing. And we want to be able to show them their leverage. If they're great, if they're charismatic, if they're a child that's outgoing or super quiet, whatever it may be, whatever they do, we want to help them identify that, so that they can be better versions of themselves. Ultimately, they're a piece of us. So we want to be able to take them and let them know that, oh, okay, this is some of the areas where I messed up at. We don't tell them ideally, but we can give them the game to say, you know what, this is what to look out for in real time. These are some of the things that that people have experienced, myself included, that you don't want to go down this path because there's more hardship than good. And a lot of times we don't pour into our children and we let the internet take over them. And then now they go and doing things like, where did you learn that behavior from? Well, why are you acting like that? Why you this and why you that? Now understanding that we signed off for being parents at whatever time. And then what happens in return is that we don't have the ear of our children. And then now the children start disrespecting us, and we letting the internet teach our children some of the values and principles, knowing that the internet don't care about your child well-being. Is monetized. The internet looking for money. They want to be able to monetize of your child's existence. So at home is where the teaching starts. So if we start focusing on curating our children from early on ages, being very, very transparent with them, letting them know what's going on in the real world, they get a jump up. instead of a jump back, because now they're so naive and they don't know what's going on. It's a fine balance. You don't give them everything because it's a timing thing. You don't give them the world at 5, 6 years old because they don't have the comprehension level to understand. They don't have reasoning, right? They don't have reasoning. When you start getting to a point of sometimes you just do as I say, right? We say these things because we understand that they don't understand why we telling them don't go outside after 9 o'clock by yourself. We know that there are people out there looking to harm children. You're not able to defend yourself. You don't got no weapons, whatever it may be to protect yourself. We telling for the greater good of the child and for our family to make sure that our child come back home in peace. So we say these things in regards to, hey, you don't understand why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. You don't really comprehend it now because they say even children's brains don't fully develop until 21 or 25 years old, right? But what I'm saying is that sometimes the understanding aspect is what they just don't understand. And sometimes we just got to be the navigators to say, hey, I know you don't understand at the moment, but I just need you to listen to what I'm saying because I'm not going to steer you in the wrong direction. If we don't pour that into children and we let everybody else tell them right from wrong, who's going to be their teacher? They're not going to respect us. They're going to respect their friends, and they may not have the type of level of guidance that we have around our family and our loved ones. P says, great speakers when through the storms, that's what makes them great. Absolutely. That's what makes them great. That's what makes them great. Got to be able to weather those storms. Big Fendi. Great speakers went through the storms. That's what makes them great. Absolutely. That's some of the great teachers. I'm a firm. I mentioned this before. I was telling Jaden, right? My stepson, I was telling the God, right? That he has leverage in the space that he occupied over a lot of other children just for him going to public school. The young God went to Catholic school his whole life. So he has an experience that other children in this public school environment, not saying that he's the only one, because there are probably a number of other children, but predominantly the kids that are in his space as of right now don't have his other experience. They have the shared experience to be in the public school setting together, but they don't have the experience of Catholic school. So what I'm showing them is that, hey, you got leverage. You got leverage because you got a part of the story that nobody else has. You have a part of your story of schooling that nobody else has. Some other children that may have homeschooling have leverage of the kids that went to public school. Some kids that always went to public school have leverage of more than the kids that went to Catholic school and vice versa. Everybody got different leverages. And what I'm saying is that when you tap into understanding who you are, what you offer, there's so many great things that could come from it. But we got to know that exists. We can't overlook the obvious. We got to understand that no, we all are great if we choose to be. If we choose to be, and we got to be around people, places, and things and environments that help push us towards the better tomorrow. P says affordable car rental needs shares knowledge. Absolutely. Affordable car rentals definitely gonna come up. Oh yeah, black is definitely gonna come up. It's gonna be diabolical when the guard come up. The guard said he need multiple series. He said he don't need one, two. He said he needed series. He said he needed to join like a sitcom. He said when he come on, he needed like a sitcom. He needed his own. The God is crazy. Legendary, super dope. I'm telling you, it's gonna be legendary when the God come up. Powerful, but there's so much leverage out there. There's so many great things that we all can provide, and I feel that having the common conversation, because when the thing that we don't do is we don't have enough conversations, and I feel that hinders our community. There was a point in time where I've been watching a lot of Charleston White content, and Charleston White said this too. The God says, he said that a lot of things that have been missing from our spaces that we occupy, the building that connection with our loved ones, is that we don't break enough bread with one another. There was a point in time where children and adults made it home by dinner time. So I was like, okay, where's he going with this? He said there was a point in time where the children and the adults made it home by dinner time. And when they made it home by dinner time, everybody sat at the table together. I said, okay, I see where he going. He said, not one child going into the living room, Not one of the adults eating outside on the porch, not one of the other loved ones eating in the kitchen. Everybody split up in their own rooms with the door closed. Not that. He said there was a point in time where everybody sat at the table together for very specific reasons. He said that when you was able to sit at the table, everybody can evaluate their family. Hold up, go somewhere. He said when everybody sat at the table together, everybody can evaluate their family. Man, when I heard that, I said, that's super powerful. He said, if my son came home with a black eye, I'll be able to notice it. If his eyes are red, I'll be able to notice it. If my daughter came home with grass in her hair, she be doing something she ain't supposed to do. I'll be able to notice it. So ultimately, what I'm saying is that you'll be able to evaluate your family from that perspective. And these are one of the key elements that we miss because a lot of times we don't build that know, like, and trust within our own family. So we go outside our family and trust the streets, trust this person, trust that person. We believe in the systems that work for everybody else, but not believing in what we got going on at home. So these are the things that I love to bring to our attention because these are some of the things that we miss. There's a point in time where, hey, you got a spanking at your house. If you did something wrong, you got a spanking by your neighbor. You got a spanking by your extended family members when they hear about it. 2 weeks later, oh, you did what? You get a woman right there on spot just because it's a disciplinary thing to let you know that there are consequences for your actions. So you don't get beat at home first. You know, this another thing. I want to mention this, right? Also, to make me think about this. They said that there was a point in time too during slavery times, right? That, you know, segregation times, right? Segregation, dealing with civil rights and all that stuff, right? That, there was lynchings, there were a lot of things that happened during these times, right? And it was so detrimental to our to minorities and black culture and people because literally if you went outside the household and you didn't have the disciplinary factors to have levels of discernment on knowing when to engage and disengage, you literally could cost your life. So he said a lot of times, a lot of the elders wouldn't speak much even in public at the time because at that time, you had the Emmett Till situation. They said he whistled at a Caucasian lady, and you seen what happened to him. His face. They put him on back of the car. They did him filthy, right? So what I'm saying is that understanding why it's important to evaluate our family is because we want to be able to teach within a home and then be able to apply that outside the real world. Of course, the times are a little bit different, right, than what they were at then. Not saying that some of these things still don't exist because we know they exist because everybody still, operate from the confines of what they know and what they were taught. But what I'm saying is that understanding that the teaching doesn't start outside of the home. It starts within the home. And it goes to the mannerisms, the way we were taught, the way we speak, the way we interact with one another. All of these things are important. And I don't want to, not highlight these things because I know that I was talked to, and there was times that I wasn't talked to, and that led me to do some things that I wasn't supposed to be doing because I didn't have the right male figures in my life to come and pee me. Mama Love was always there. Mama Love did the mother's job, the nurturing part, provided food on the table for everybody. Still do for everybody. That doesn't stop. So having a strong black woman in the household to make sure that everything's taken care of when we go outside those households, what are the role models that we looking up to and who are guiding us in the right direction? Who are telling us what to do, what not to do? Meanwhile, these things are supposed to be happening from within the home. So we know that having mother and father in the home is important because you get both sides. You get the male aspect and you get the female aspect. If you only have one, you're going to be missing one aspect. And what I'm saying is that as a family unit, it's important. And some people's situations are what they are. Not saying that every situation is perfect. We're not saying that. All I'm saying is that the teaching mechanisms need to start from within the house because you have better chances of curating that gift, maximizing your potential, being successful in your own right, finding your success, creating your purpose from within. Because you know how to find your own value. You don't need the world to validate you. You can say, okay, I got a gift in um playing video games, quote unquote. I'm really skillful at that. Let me just show my skill set at one of my homies. He's a gamer, thousands and thousands of views on the game. He said he gamed his whole life, but he turned on the camera and started teaching the gaming. Monetize, get his paper up. That's what he do. Everybody got leverage. Is what I'm saying. And I know that these are the things that we can carry out through our family if we don't overlook the obvious. We can overlook the obvious for bad and good. What I'm saying is that just don't overlook it because there's so much we can learn for the things that's right in front of us. And I say that tap into those things because once we be able to build on that small level, we'll be able to build up on the future level for greater and greater. That's how we learn. That's how we are taught. That's how we teach one another. Start where we start before you're ready. That's Sean Candle. Sean Candle says start before you're ready, meaning that get out there, jump in the water. Sometimes we want to have all the bells and whistles checked off, and life isn't like that. We don't know what we don't know, but you start to discover once you start to do. You start to discover once you start to do. When I started to be more engulfed into who I am and what I represent, I started to learn things about myself that I never knew about me. And I'm like, I've been living with me my whole life, but I didn't take time out to sit with myself to evaluate how I think, what I think about, what do I care about, who are my influences, what matters to me, why does it matter? Questioning, well, why does it matter? And then I started to, check off some of these boxes like, ooh, okay, this is why this matters. This is why family X, Y, and Z. This is why friends are X, Y. Or why does it matter to be a man of your word? Your word is your bond. That's an oath. That's a pact. There's a respect there. It's a promise, Seri note, just through a handshake to say that I vow to do X, Y, and Z. That's why that counts. So now that if you are a reliable, trustworthy person, people believe in you because you're able to show up trustworthy for oneself. You're able to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with oneself. Although there's some things that we don't want to, admit to, but when you're able to do that, you build up trust within you, and then other people will be able to recognize that as well in the things that you do. So whatever you choose to do in your life, show up and be truthful in it. Whatever it is, you want to go be a comedian, go be a comedian. Live that truth, be that, embody that, train the mind to be better at that. And that's what it's about. I feel that everything that we all have the potential to do, and it depends on how you show up. You show up with the mindset, okay, before I teach, let me learn. Before I teach, let me learn. Or if I already have a skill set at a particular place, let me teach what I already know. It's always a give and take from teaching and learning. You teach where you are, where you at. You don't want to teach from a perspective of something that you have nowhere about or you don't know of, or you just freestyling. We don't want that because then now people start building up distrust. And they say, I really can't vouch for that thing right there because he's speaking about things that he or she doesn't know. So just living your truth. And then over time, you start looking at yourself in the mirror, you start being honest and truthful with oneself, people start to believe in you more and more. And that's the confirmation for oneself to say, you know what, I'm showing up and doing a just job because I'm purpose driven. I design my purpose. I'm somebody that's willing to do the job, and you can count on me to do it because I show up to do it. And I know that every aspect of your life, you have the potential to do that. You have unlimited potential. You can maximize your potential. Maximize it right now. Start before you're ready. Start doing things. Laura Boyd, right? You can go check this out too on TED Talk. Laura Boyd. She said the brain, you start to get smarter. The neurons start to connect more when you start to do more difficult tasks. That's where the learning actually kicks in at. That's how people actually develop the skill set and the sharpness of being quote unquote smart. When when you start coming up and doing more difficult tasks, that's when the brain starts to grow. So what happens when we don't do anything and we don't challenge ourselves? The brain is not growing. You won't grow. So the moral of the story is that in order to get to and from, it's gonna come with a level of difficulty. It's gonna come with a level of difficulty, meaning that you're gonna unfamiliar territory. You're gonna do some things that you've never done before, and you're gonna have to show up and just learn as you learn through it, grow through it. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. But if you're comfortable enough to understand that concept, then the sky's the limit. There's nothing that's in your way of stopping you from being the best version of yourself. Nothing. Myron Golden said he don't even assign a level of difficulty to things, meaning that he don't say this is hard to this degree or not. He don't even assign a level of difficulty. He just go out there and show up and say, I'm here to do the job. And whatever that entails, whatever that embodies, I'm going to go through that. And then over time, I'll be able to develop and sharpen up my skills as I learn and grow. It's powerful. He doesn't even assign a level of difficulty. Powerful, powerful. Man, if I said anything tonight that offended anybody, that's not my intention. I say this because I learned this from Dr. Ali. He says that when he come on the platform, his intention is not to offend, but to just spread a message and spread a word. So Ellie, what's up, loved one? Compatible consultants in the building. What's up, loved ones? They are building. Go get your credit. Go tap in. They're doing wonderful, maximizing people credit opportunities, giving them ways out of being able to grow their credit, fix their finances, get them to the bag to be able to change their lives. So compatible consultants, Ellie in the building, Bones in the building. Go tap in. Go tap in. Go tap in. You need your credit right. They'll be able to fix that. They'll be able to help you through that. My brother Sean Beasley do the same thing. Go tap in. Go do that. Tap on one of the loved ones. Get your credit right. Get your business credit right. Level up. 20, 30, 40, 100. Get the 100 piece. What you gonna do with a 100 piece? Talk about it. Oh, a clean hundo. Oh, what you gonna do with 100? But and in back to the sentiment. I don't come on here to, if I offend, it's not my intention. So I want to be able to constantly just lead forth with that. Is there anything that anybody want to say before we slide out of here? Be more and free willing to tap that into the chat. But ultimately, it was a great, dope session. Millie, what's up, loved one? Lagos in the building, what's up, loved one? Unlimited love. If there's anything that anybody want to share, more, you're free to do so. Also, if you haven't done so, go sign up to Respectfully Great on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. It brings up the more awareness to be able to get more people in tune, tapped in, build up the algorithm, and ultimately be able to get more and more guests on the platform so we can share our sentiment, share our expertise, share our growth and our development, and share our testimonies to get us to and from. So ultimately, go subscribe and hit that notification button, turn the notifications on. Let people know that you're tapped in on Respectfully Great. Already subscribed. Oh, Ellie, big love. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Tapping on Respectfully Great at YouTube. Also, go to respectfullygreat.com, shop, get your latest and greatest in Respectfully Great wear and attire. Also, subscribe to our email list. You'll be able to get the latest and greatest on our blogs, with things that's coming up next. So much more. And you'll be able to stay tapped into us as a family in the community and get the latest and greatest of what's going on with Respectfully Great as we continue to grow. We grow together. And that's the whole premise. That's the whole purpose of us doing what we're doing, showing up in real time so we can be better for tomorrow, for who we are and what we stand for. And people can tap into that and get more familiar with I know, like, and I trust. So we be able to design that purpose and be able to be fulfilled individuals with that purpose. So that's that. I love you guys unconditionally. And it's been a wonderful episode. If you know people that are willing to come on the platform, you know they got a wonderful story, send them to the God way so we can build and we be able to have them on the platform. Babe, bro, 100 Wave King said, get to the bag, stay focused, and stay locked in with the respectfullygreat.com/respectfully great on YouTube. Ooh, big love. Hold up. 100 Wave, let's get it. Let me get the horn game. What the hell on that? What the horn on that? Feel like flex out here. Dropping the balls on the horns on your dick. Big love, unlimited. You know that. I'm proud of you. I'm super pumped, and you guys give me inspiration to want to be better every day because you guys show up in real time and it gives me the confidence to go out there. Ellie says she's subscribed. Lizzie says she's subscribed. Big love on the Respectfully Great on YouTube. Yeah, man, it's dope. It's dope. Don't forget to hit those notification buttons, like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend. Also, if you know somebody that has business that out there doing a thing and you want to be able to spread that word and that message, tell them holla at the God, send them my way, tell them hit the God in the DM, or you let me know about them so I can reach out to them. I'm gonna put my boots on the ground. I got my boots on the ground, hit the ground running. Let's do it. Yeah, that's it. We signing out respectfully. See you next Thursday. Tapped in 7 p.m. We are super litty. Respectfully.